Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. This will be an audio only mini review of She Hulk episode 8, surprisingly. I think we all know why I'm doing a video on this particular episode. For Daredevil, of course, I am one of those people that tuned back in because I didn't think I would be doing another video on this show after the first episode. We did the first episode. I was not a fan. I didn't like the trajectory. I didn't like the characterizations. I didn't like the tone that was set. So I dipped. Episodes 2 through 7, I still have not watched to this day. And I promise you, if you have never watched She Hulk and you come into episode 8, you will have a full and complete understanding of what's going on in the show. And that should tell you how hollow and aimless this show has been. Because I've watched recaps of the other episodes, further confirming that I don't need to watch them because nothing happens in them. And it's even more telling that, like I said, if you have never seen this show before or you dipped after a certain episode, you could come back in right now and you wouldn't have missed a thing. That's just indicative of the poor writing that exists within this show. So the actual episode, for the most part, was not bad. I quite enjoyed it. I think it's very funny that Daredevil comes onto the show and the quality just skyrockets in the best way. Like, we actually had a goal point. We were actually moving towards something in this episode. Isn't that crazy? The humor actually worked. Daredevil played really well off of She-Hulk with his dry humor, and their back and forth was great. Their chemistry was great. I know they had a relationship in the comics, so that was kind of nice to see little bits of that here. I really liked Daredevil just being a little more laid back. He had a little more humor. It is reminiscent of the comics. I know a lot of people seem to be very shocked about that. They, for some reason, got it cooked up that he was supposed to be like Batman, but I know that those are the casual viewers who didn't even do the bare minimum of going to Wikipedia. So it's okay, right? Whatever. But everything with him was great. The dialogue was leagues better. The courtroom scene, come on, short and sweet, but it was good. Like, it was watchable. The action scene. I do like that they showed him being extremely agile, right? I really enjoyed that. She-Hulk just looked very sluggish during that action scene. I don't know what that was about. She looked very sluggish throughout the entire thing. But overall, it was a cool action sequence. Um, After Daredevil leaves, after he does the walk of shame, after some good sex, which was very funny, the show just reverts right back to what it's always been for me. Very aimless and very hollow. Demonstrated by the scene where she's sitting on the couch, She-Hulk. She looks to the camera. She's like, wow, this episode's supposed to be over. Like, it already came to a satisfying conclusion, but I guess we can la 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 la. And it was just very awkward. Like, I know it was supposed to be a fourth wall moment, but it was very awkward. And I really think they should have just ended the episode there because from that point, she goes to this gala, right? She's wearing this horrendous dress that was designed for her. That dress was awful. I'm so sorry. It didn't even fit her body. Like, it didn't even work for her body type. You couldn't even have it to where it fit her body. Like, it just, she looked so awkward and uncomfortable. It was just awful in my opinion. But she wears this dress and she goes to the gala, whatever. And then something happens where she was betrayed by some guy that she was sleeping with, and then he ghosted her, but it turns out he was, collecting information on her or what have you. He, quote unquote, exposes her at this gala event, and all hell breaks loose. And then we end with her outside of the place. She has this guy in her clutches. She's about to rip him to shreds, but there are all these officers around pointing guns, and her best friend is like, stop. And she just looks, puts the guy down, and she's like breathing heavily, and then we just end there. And I just, I don't know. There's one more episode. One more episode. And we are just now breaking into what I would consider to be like the main plot of your show. The main thing you have going on with your show, this intelligentsia stuff, whatever that is. We're just now cracking into it in the 8th episode with one more episode to go. This is why I believe the show is very aimless and concerning. And for those who are enjoying the show, they don't mind it being aimless. More power to you. Truly, I'm glad you're enjoying the show. I guess I'll just never understand that because this is She-Hulk's first introduction into the MCU. Like, this is it. And it's a whole lot of nothing. And I think they already failed because throughout the show, from what I gathered from the recaps and from the 1st and 8th episode, you have set it up to where there is no distinction between Jennifer Walters and She-Hulk. And right there, you have severely misunderstood this character. The whole reason Jen most times prefers to be She-Hulk is because She-Hulk gives her confidence, gives her sex appeal that she wouldn't exude otherwise as herself, as Jennifer Walters. And that could be something interesting to explore. And from the recaps, it doesn't seem like that was ever explored. Because again, there's no distinction between the two of them. They're the same person. So we have Jen, who really has not evolved since the 1st episode. And this is our main character. This is our protagonist. She has not grown. There is no character arc. There has been no introspective on her behavior, on her relationships, her life. There's been really none of that. It's been fluff. And I'm just very concerned on how that's going to play out in the future. And a lot of people want to say, well, it's a comedy, don't expect a lot. It's not to be taken seriously. And I really don't understand that argument either. Because what are you really trying to say with that? That's an insult to the genre of comedy, to comedy movies. Because it's a comedy, it's supposed to be hollow. Because it's a comedy, I shouldn't expect characters to grow, to have a personality, to go through trials and tribulations, to be held accountable. These are basic things that are needed for quality storytelling. And you're telling me that because this is a comedy, I shouldn't expect any of that? What are you saying? I can name 3 comedies off the top of my head. Rush Hour, Coming to America, Dumb and Dumber. All 3 of these movies have characters that at some point in time have some sort of development. They have an arc. There's a goal point. There's a plot within these movies. And it's not present within She-Hulk. We get little doses of it, but it's not enough. It needs to be throughout the entire show, and it has not been, for what I gathered from the recaps and my viewings of episodes 1 and 8. So take this however you like. But that's just what I've gathered. And the potential was there with She-Hulk. I think that's why I'm so frustrated, because you really could have done something special with this show. Having a legal comedy with She-Hulk and exploring like Z-list heroes or villains and having them in court or whatever. Like, you really could have done something with this, and you just took every wrong avenue to the max. Ugh, man. So, I don't know. I'm probably not going to watch the season finale. I'm one of those people that tuned back in for Daredevil, and I'm tuning back out. I'll watch a recap to see how it ends, but I don't know. I'm just so disappointed in how this show turned out, because I was very curious to watch the show. I'm not going to say I was extremely excited, but I was a little excited and I was very curious. So it's just like, ugh. But this episode, for the most part, was pretty good. I enjoyed it. What did you guys think? For those who have been watching the show and been actively keeping up with it, what are your thoughts on the show overall so far? Let me know or don't, but thanks for listening and thanks for watching. Bye.